Our carriage fleet's a bit different to most preserved railways in the country. Back when preservation got underway in the 50s, 60s, 70s, most people just went to British Railways and bought their discarded rolling stock, really. We decided from the outset that that's not what we're about. So we went out and made the trouble of finding much earlier vehicles. So the carriage behind us, in terms of condition, is probably a lot worse than some of the ones we've restored up until now. But in terms of its history, it's pretty typical. It was built in the mid-1880s by the North Eastern Railway in York, and it was withdrawn around about the First World War and sent to a farm to be a garage eventually. Most of the stock we have has connections to the North East, so this carriage behind me would have started off working on the East Coast Main Line on trains between sort of Newcastle, York and London, and then it would have been cascaded down to branch line work just before the First World War and ended its life then. It's a much more difficult job than just buying a carriage second hand that's almost ready to roll, but I think fundamentally it's made the Tanfield Railway what it is today. On a day-to-day basis, you'll probably have a handful of people working on the more detailed woodwork required for a restoration. So the carriage behind us, for example, we're basically dismantling that piece by piece and rebuilding it as it would have been built back in the 1880s. And that allows us to get a really, really solid framework again. It's not too bad considering it's lived in a farm for 100 years on the ground, but obviously there's little bits and pieces that we need to repair, to replace, and that's the work that happens in here predominantly. General maintenance is a constant task. We're very fortunate that our carriage fleet all lives under cover. A lot of railways don't have that benefit. So, for example, a coat of paint in our carriages, now they live under cover, can last about 20 years. It used to be more like 2. But it's a constant battle of, keeping brake blocks changed, lubrication, door locks. It's the basic wear and tear you'd expect on a carriage.